1773, the 13 colonies rose up against Britain. On the 4th of July, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed. The Continental Army, under the command of George Washington, had no gunpowder, no blankets, no rifles, and no uniforms. Washington said, "My soldiers lack everything needed for the war." The Congress of Philadelphia requested the help of Britain's enemies, sending Arthur Lee and John Jay to Spain, Benjamin Franklin to France, and John Adams to Netherlands. Spain and France immediately started to help Washington's army. From Paris, the Count of Aranda, the Spanish ambassador, approved in 1776 a secret consignment paid for jointly by the two countries, comprising cannons, mortars, bombs, bullets, rifles, and all kinds of supplies for the revolutionaries, which helped them to win their first victory over the British at the Battle of Saratoga in 1777. France no longer held possessions in North America. It had lost Canada, and after the 7 Years' War, had ceded Louisiana to Spain. For that reason, in 1778, France decided to declare war on Britain in Europe and helped the American rebels with a view to weakening the British. In Spain, the Secretary of State, the Count of Floridablanca, recommended that the king should adopt a cautious approach and negotiate with Britain. Spain had launched an ambitious program of reform, fired by Enlightenment ideas, which required a great deal of money. At the same time, Spain feared that her colonies in America might be attacked by the British, and that the ideas behind the American Revolution might spread to Spanish possessions. After meeting Franklin, the Count of Aranda recommended an alliance with France to help the American rebels and undermine British power. Charles III and his ministers saw an opportunity to recover Minorca and Florida and to attempt to regain Gibraltar. In April 1779, Spain allied with France and declared war on Britain. After the 4th of July, the rebels requested assistance from the Spanish governor of New Orleans. Spanish New Orleans was a strategic city with good links to the northern territories. Governor Luis de Gonzaga and later Governor Bernardo de Galvez administered supplies sent from Havana. For 3 years, they provided the envoys of the Congress with money, gunpowder, weapons, medicine, and clothes. As soon as war was declared, Bernardo de Galvez organized a small army made up of Spanish soldiers from the Louisiana Battalion, militiamen from New Orleans, and French, Acadians, Afro-descendants, and American volunteers, together with Native American allies, after a long march through swampy land. At the head of these troops, America's first multicultural army, Galvez expelled the British from the right bank of the Mississippi. The following year, he conquered the city of Mobile. Meanwhile, a large expeditionary force of 11,000 soldiers was being formed at Cadiz. In April 1780, they set out aboard over 70 ships under the command of Admiral Solano. They reached Havana in August. Despite losing over 2,000 men due to disease, the following year they took part, under Galvez, in the greatest Spanish victory in America, the capture of Pensacola, the capital of British Florida. They took over 2,000 prisoners and captured the British governor. At the same time, Diego de Gardoqui, a Bilbao merchant with experience in the sea trade with America, was instructed by Charles III to organize the secret sending of supplies to the rebels. From 1777 to 1783, supplies of all kinds were dispatched from the Spanish ports of Bilbao, Santander, and Cadiz. Weapons, uniforms, blankets, and large sums of money, which made their way to Atlantic ports controlled by Washington's troops, down the coast from Massachusetts to New Jersey. In collaboration with France, Spain also sent supplies from French ports. In August 1781, Galvez and Francisco de Saavedra, the king's envoy to America, met the commander of the French fleet, Admiral Grasse, to hand over one of the most significant consignments of aid: 1 million pesos for the French and American troops which were besieging Yorktown. Their victory in September of that year brought an end to the war. Until recently, this story was very little known. In 2014, Bernardo de Galvez was posthumously awarded the title of Honorary American Citizen in recognition of Spain's support for American independence.